So we have work now on how to reference, how to search the web, and you have think about your keywords that you will use today for your library search. And then after this, you will start writing assignments. You also have assignments for your other lecturers. And I want to give you the technical guidelines on how we expect you to write and how your document should look like. I will also show you, I will get now a document that I can show you also in Word if you don't understand what I mean. So yeah, let's fall away. The first one is the paper size that we are going to use. You use A4 paper, and it should, yeah, it come in standard. Do you all know what it means to justify a document? Do you know how to justify it? Okay, I don't need to show you that. Okay. Then you're all happy with writing in 1,5 line spacing? No problem? Good. Then we have margins. What do I mean with, what does the word margin means? Anyone help me? Yes, sir. On the outside. Okay, your margins is your outside border. Good. So your outside border on your computer is set as default as 2.5 inches. That means it's more than 3 centimeters. But VUT prescribe that your margins should be 2 centimeters all around. Do any of you know how to set your margins? No. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a document, and then I will show you how to do your margins. I'm somehow going to use my learner guide, which is a document in Word. Your margins have all to do with your layout. So you can write down the recipe. You go to layout on the top menu in Word. Then you go to margins. Your margins is on a drop-down menu. You will see that the normal setting on my computer is 2.54 centimeters, but I can custom my margins. So you go to custom margins. Let us see, where is the custom margins now? I don't see. Must give you a drop-down menu to, wait, let us see. Margins, custom margins, there you go. So it is the bottom one. Look there, I'm going to show again. Right at the bottom, custom margins. There you go. You set your top margin at 2 centimeters, your left one 2 centimeters. You leave the gutter at north. You do the top or the bottom at 2 centimeters, the right at 2 centimeters. Mine is already set, so all that you do is you delete whatever, don't delete the centimeters. Or, no, sorry, there is a drop-down box. Can you see? There you change it to the different centimeters. Okay, all happy with it? Will you be able to do it? Okay, and then you just click OK, and your document will automatically move, and you have the 2 centimeter margins. All right, let's continue to the next one. We need to type in Times New Roman or Arial. Do you all know what is Times New Roman and Arial? You happy? You will find that. Then our font size of the main text is 12 points All happy with that? Not 11, but 12, okay? I'm already wearing glasses. It can be smaller when you use it in tables or in figures, but no smaller than 8 points. And the name of the chapter, that is the big heading, and we will use that only next year, will be point 14. But for now, for this year, you use point 12 only. Then our headings must be in uppercase and it must be in bold. So if you have a first level heading, can you remember from yesterday's lecture? 1 point must be in uppercase and it must be bold. All happy with it? Okay. Your subheading, which is 3.1 or 1.1 and 1.2, that should be in lowercase and also bold. Then all your documents that you need to submit should have page numbers. They say the title page, that is the first page of your assignment, should not be numbered. This is a difficult one. I will show you how to do that. Your table of contents is numbered with Roman numerals. You all know the little I, I2, I3. The first page of the text is number 1, and we call that the Arabic numbering system. If you have annexures, which we will not use this year, you can mark your annexures as A or 1 or A or 1, 2, and B and C. Okay. I'm going to just show you again my learner guide on the computer because that gives you a nice example. This one doesn't have page numbers, so I can show you how to do the page numbers. What we mean is this is our title page, and the title page should not have numbers in. But if you go to Insert, and then we insert page numbers, we always use page numbers at the bottom of the page, and for research we prefer to have it on your right hand side. So you click on that one and there you will see the page numbers. My problem is now, oh yeah, there it shows you. Mine automatically do the italics. Let us see. And the front page does not have a page number. Just want to show you that there is a trick that you need to do. If you want to change your page numbers, when you start with your new text, you must go, can you see there stands first page header, section 3, but they have inserted here not a page break, but a section break. So where do we insert breaks? Let me just go and find my breaks. Do you know how to insert breaks? Page layout, let me just see, line numbers. Insert, page numbers, break. I do it once a year, and then if we come to the second year, I forgot where to find it. I always have to look for it. It's not design. Wait. Insert heading, footers, symbols, designs, no, page borders, layout, margins, orientation, size, line. There's breaks. Insert page breaks. Unfortunately, on this computer, it is not highlighted, but it will give you different options of how to insert a page break. If you battle, we will give you this year it on templates, but you can go then and insert not a page break, but a section break. And when you do a section break, you can then change the page numbers to the different ones. Yes, ma'am?
Professor, try to get out the header and footer.
Oh, okay. Right, let's do. Maybe it might work, yeah. Let's just see. Ah, okay. There you go. Thank you very much. Ooh, my computer skills are not nice today. We have here next page, continue page, odd page, even page. Let me just see. This is page breaks. No. You see, different computer programs also work differently. All right. But if you have a problem, I'm available and we can discuss it and I can assist you on getting the page break. For now, it's not so important, but for now, you just need to know that you have the Roman numbers and the Arabic numbering for your numbering system. Okay, if you run in the problem, you will know where to find me and I can help you. Okay. Now the next one is numbering in the text. All headings and subheadings must be numbered in order to clarify the sequence, importance, and interrelation of events. Tables, figures, and annexures must be numbered sequentially as they appeared in the text. In other words, if you have chapter 1, your figures in chapter 1 will be 1.1 for the first one. The second one will be 1.2. So you number it according to the chapter. But in your proposal, it doesn't have chapters, so you will number it number 1, number 2, and number 3. So for your normal assignments, all assignments this year, you number the first one 1, second one, third one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so the numbering is very easy to do. You use Arabic numbers. Numbers of main and subheadings should not be indented. Do you know what indentation means? You must not move it away to the inside. Okay, don't tab. Let me show you again on my learner guide. You see, these are numbered and all on the same side on the edge of the page. If you go and dent it, it means you are going to move it. I just want to click there. This is automatically numbered. But if you indent it, do something like this. Okay, that is what indentation means. Should not be like that. It should be to the side. There the numbering is right. I have to click it one more. You can click it up there, or what you can do is, this is also a nice thing to have on your computer is your rulers. Now I must find the rulers again. I always forget where I get my ruler. Layout, breaks, view. Okay. Ruler. Can you see there's a ruler? Can you see that little triangle there? Do you see it? And this one. Okay. Because these are not, can you see they are dented? They'll move away. What you can do is you can move these two. Look what happened if I just drag this one. It goes to that side. I can drag it up to the end. If I drag on the square there, look what happens. The 9 moves. Okay. If I click on the triangle, what happens? Nothing. No. If I want to move the top one, I can put them on top of one another and with my alignment already. It is difficult if you do not sit in front of a computer and exercise it yourself. So go and play at home with your indents and so on. But I want just to show you that you can move everything together. If you click on the square, you can move the bottom one when you click and hold on your triangle, and if you click your mouse and hold on the top triangle. Okay, hope it's something new that you didn't know. All right, let's move on. We did this yesterday. Numbers, a full stop is placed between the numbers, designating the subdivision of different levels, like 1.1, but we don't have a full stop after the 1, okay. But if it's number 1 only, like so, and the 2, it will have the full stop, okay. No full stops is used after the last number unless it's only 1 digit. There I explain it. Leave 1 blank space between the number and the heading. Okay, that means when I go back to my computer and I'm looking at my headings, can you see there is a space there in between? Okay, don't put it so close that you can't see the difference between the 8 point and the R, okay. So what you can do on your computer, you have on your keyboard the tab. Do you know where's the tab? You can tap it as well. Any questions regarding this? All happy? Cool. Go on. When we are doing bullet lists, list of information can be bullet. We need to be consistent and do not incorporate more than 3 types of bullets in one piece of work. All right. One assignment, try to keep it to the same bullet. I wonder if I use, here is a list of bullets on my computer, in my learner guide, which I want to show you. Here it says, to log onto the Goldfield Library Information Services, and the steps are as follow. Bullet 1, bullet 2. Can you see how we use the semicolon at the end? We list the second one with a semicolon. Then you have to write and there, and then you put the last bullet. This is the rules for writing a bullet list. You cannot start with a bullet list in the middle of the air. It needs to have an introductory sentence. To log on the, you do it as follows. Double colon. First bullet, semicolon. Second bullet, semicolon. When you come to your last bullet, you have semicolon and give your last bullet. If you are quoting it from a specific source, you will have to go and put your reference at the end before you put your full stop. Can you remember with referencing, you have to put it there. Unfortunately, my keyboard is not working, so you will insert a reference there, or you can change the sentence in order to log on to or dictate it, and the reference in brackets. Now, that you should do the following steps and then the bullet list. All happy with bullet list? The rule? Come back to this page if you can't remember what is the rules that you need to follow. Then the language which we are going to use, we have talked already about that yesterday, so that is covered. We use the UK English, and this is last bullet is a very important bullet. When you start writing, you should keep your sentences short and concise. Use the simplest words that you can convey the correct meaning. Now, I've got a rule. A sentence should not be longer than 2 rows. Okay. If it's, I'm going to show you also in my learner guide quickly. If you are talking and talking and talking, can you see this sentence go on for more than 1 line. It becomes a very long sentence and the meaning are not very clear, okay? So when you are writing, refrain from writing too long sentences, okay? Otherwise, the meaning gets unclear, people don't understand. Rather put a full stop, start and write a new sentence. This is the biggest problem that second language English-speaking people have. And we in Africa especially have a problem. In Afrikaans, we talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and we don't stop, and we want to write all long sentences. So when I'm looking at your sentence construction, mark your sentence construction, normally, most often, all students just go on and on and on and on writing, okay. So 2 lines maximum that you can write a sentence, okay. If it's longer, start considering breaking up your sentence into 2 sentences. All happy? Then we go on to the next page. This is a very, very important rule, the first one. We never use I and we. The right one is to use the author. So you don't tell me, I want to do research. The author wants to explore, or you will say, Dix want to explore. So we never use I and me, okay. I found this in my research. No, the author found this in the research, okay. Or the researcher found this, okay. So we're not allowed to use the word I and me and also we when we are writing. So get that out of your head now, because your lecturers in all your assignments are going to look for the I's and the me's and the we's. Then, if you have a lot of numerical information, rather put it in tables, graphs, or charts. The text should not include abbreviations, not generally recognized. As a rule, we should avoid abbreviation. Okay, so in research, we don't write etc. Okay, because etc. means you are too lazy to name the rest. It's a science, we need to be precise. So we don't use the word etc. Okay, we list all of it. Then define abbreviations, acronyms, and symbols when they first occur in the text. And from that point onwards, use the abbreviated term, for example, the National Research Foundation, NRF. Yesterday we talked about it. We write out the World Health Organization and then say in brackets, WHO, and from after the first time like that, you can continue just referring to the WHO. All happy with that? Okay. First time, write out. Display calculations separately. We are not having that many or that often calculations. Another rule, write out numbers lower than 10. It means 1 to 10. You must always write out in words. Okay, so you write O-N-E, you must write 1. This is right. Let me show you. Not 1. Not 5. You must write 5. Okay. We write 10. No. We write 10, like so. Okay? All happy? Remember this rule. This is a writing rule of UT. Let's read further. The exception on a rule. If we don't have exceptions, then you don't have a rule. except if these are followed by a recognized abbreviation. We write 2,5 kilometers. If you write 2,5, can you see there's a space between it? If you make a choice to write 2,5 space kilometer, you have to do it with all your symbols like this. We also accept the following, that you write 2,5 kilometers without the space there. But then everywhere in your document it should be like that. So you can write, for instance, 12% without the space in between. Okay, so if you decided to write 2,5 without the space in kilometers, then your 12% must also be without the space. Okay, so now we are looking at really fine technical writing issues, that is rules that should be followed. So before you submit any assignment, you have to go back to this document and make sure that you have followed all your writing rules. Learn it and start using it, because this is a standard way of writing. If you get it once in your life right, you will get it forever right. Okay. They say here, and here we talk about the percentage. The percentage sign should not use in text, except when we use it, you can't write it on its own like this. They recommend that you write a total of 20% increases. But sometimes in our results it's very difficult to write like this. So we also accept if you write it as 20%. But if you're talking about percent without a number, then you write out the word percent. Okay. I will put this particular one where I add some of the examples today on the Vutela site for you. I'm not going to read all of the rest. We did yesterday quotations. We are coming now to how to do text layout. We've said justify. We said we are not allowed to indent anything. Underscoring or italics should not be used in headings. Italics are only used for Latin terminology. In other words, remember et ali, which is Italian. One should in our work leave a blank line space between paragraphs. Students, this is really important. I'm going back to my learner guide. Every single paragraph, can you see there is a space? These are now my referencing. Let me get something that I've written. You should leave one line sentence open between two paragraphs. To put them together does not work, okay? You need to give the person who's marking your work also some space and lay out the document so that there is enough spacing in between. There was something. There is a very interesting thing that you can use. You can highlight. Did you see sometimes in your document you've got small spaces like this, and then you get big spaces like this? Have you seen that? And then you don't know why between these two paragraphs your space is like this. You type the heading, under the heading you suddenly have such a space. Under the next heading your space is like this. Your document looks very untidy. You have to fix that. Now the trick is, if your document do that, you highlight your document or your paragraph. You can see there's a small space between the heading and when we start writing. My document nowhere they have all equal spaces. Do you see? Okay, so our document should be neat like that. Now, how on earth do we get that right? You highlight the whole thing, like mine is now. Then you right-click on your mouse, okay? Write down this recipe. Then you go to paragraph, and you click on paragraph. And then there is a pop-up menu. And you will see in this pop-up menu, our alignment is justify. We're happy about it. We use body text always in writing. We have no left indentation, no right indentation. We have no special things, so all of that needs to be naught. The thing that bothers you and gives you those big gaps is this spacing. Always go and put it at 0 points. Look what happens. It goes auto, and can you see at the bottom, wait, can you see what happens? Do you see how it moves up and down there? Okay. We need to put everything at 0 point here. After, that is at the end of the paragraph. Can you see which one moved now? Okay. Look which one moved here. Okay. So all of them we should leave at 0. I always select the wrong one. Not auto, 0. 0. Line spacing, you all know, already selected at 1,5. And then you just say, okay, and your document is right. Okay. All happy with that one. This is the best one you can know to fix your untidy document. Okay. Then I'm going back. Yes, ma'am.
In a paragraph, how many sentences would we use?
Great, this is a very good question. I'm going to explain it in short. A paragraph is something that is fairly manageable and short. So I would say no more than a half page for one paragraph. Can be shorter. There is a rule when you write a paragraph. A paragraph always have an introductory sentence. Then a paragraph have a core or a body. And a paragraph have a conclusion sentence which link to what you want to say in your next paragraph. So then your next paragraph starts with something to introduce, a body that describes what you have introduced, and to summarize that and to introduce your next one. So a paragraph consists of a minimum of 3 sentences. You cannot have a paragraph with less than 3 sentences. Writing rule. I will stand still on these writing rules in a few weeks, but for now, I think it's important that we know what it is. Your core sentence can be 4, 5, or 10 sentences, but it's introduction, at least 1 sentence, 5 to 10 sentences, and you conclude and introduce your new sentence. Okay. We will also I will do an exercise with you to help you to write and how to. I've got a nice slideshow on linking your previous paragraph to your next paragraph, concluding at your end of your paragraph, and so on. So we will start next time. Next time we are going to practice referencing, and then afterwards I'm going to start with the writing skills, and that's what I'm going to do in writing skills. Okay, great. Then we are not using footnotes. We should avoid it. In legal sciences, they are using a lot of footnotes, but that is part of the subject content. So the rest. Then avoid, and this one I want to kill students some days. Avoid leaving blank spaces more than 3 lines at the bottom of a page within the body of a report, unless it's at the end of a chapter. I don't know what happened in the schools. They teach you to do introduction, 5 lines. Leave the rest of the page open. Start with the body on the next page. Where do you come on that? You must not do it. It's not allowed. You waste paper. Why? Who teach you that? I don't get it. All students is doing it. It's wrong. It's so, so wrong. You start writing introduction, you continue. No gaps in between. Just want to, I don't think I have an example of something like that. Okay, unfortunately, I didn't bring an example. When we are doing writing style, I will stand still to this again, okay? But no gaps on a paper, okay? You waste your money, okay? And I think, is paper free? It's free for class fees, free for textbooks, free for food, free for paper? Huh? Does NEFSAS pay your paper? No. Yes? You're wasting. You're killing the planet. No blank spaces on any assignment that you ever hand in, except if it's your conclusion and it ends on top of the page. You leave the rest of the page open and your reference list starts on a new page. But the rest flow. Title page, where you name your student number and everything is on one page. Second page, table of content. Even if it's a small content, leave the rest open. There you're allowed to leave it open. Then you start introduction, all your headings, no blank, up till final conclusion. Then blank, new page for your reference list. It's a writing rule. It's a rule at VUT. You have to use it, okay? We mark it. We subtract marks for it, okay? And after 50 times that I have to do it, I'm getting fed up. And I lecture it. So yeah. So then the marks is not -5, it's somewhere -10. Nah. So don't annoy your lecturers. Be careful of that. And we are not going to do it this year, but when you start a new chapter is started on a new page. Okay. If it's chapter 1, starts on a new page. If you finish conclusion with its references, or no, we don't put references, you can end any time there in the air, next chapter, new page. Okay, that's how it should be laid out. Okay, fortunately we do not do or use in our course equations and formulas. If you need to, there is writing rules about it, but I'm not going to bore you with that. Then, I'm going to talk a little bit about figures and tables. Okay. Do you remember the Cremora ad? It's not on top, it's inside, nah? Or it's not inside, it's on top. I see somebody is listening, nah? It's not inside, it's on top. Now, if you want to put a table in your assignment, where am I going to put the heading of that table? On top. If you put in a photograph or any other picture or anything that we call a figure, where do we put the heading? Not on top, at the bottom. So, T for table on top. Figure at the bottom. It's a rule. We mark it. We subtract marks for it. Okay, yeah. So, guys, you have to pay attention to these, nah? I know the guys have a particular problem because what does it matter where it stands? It does matter. It's a standardized rule but you have to follow it. So please follow it. It sounds stupid, but one have to follow it. Remember, you cannot just present a table in your assignment. It must have a heading. And it must have, you write table 1 and give its name. Where is the source that you get it out? Before you put the full stop after the name of that table, you must put your source of that table. Okay. I didn't bring along an example of a nice table. No, I don't have one. I will show you that more in the writing skills when you are doing it. Now, what is a figure? Everything except from a table is a figure. So figures includes graphs, drawings, photographs, maps, diagrams, computer printouts. Figures should be numbered consecutively as figures in Arabic numerals, beginning with figure 1 only in your assignments. If you are writing in chapters, next year it is figure 1.1. Okay. You can also have, in chapter 2, you will have the first figure in chapter 2 will be 2.1. So the 2 refer to the chapter in which you will find it. Always, figures, they are used to supplement the text and present information clearly and effectively. If you put in a table or a figure, you must describe it. You must tell me what's going on. Why did you put it in there? What must I look at when I'm reading your document? Figures should be placed in the text to which they relate. So don't put the figure here in the beginning and then you talk about the figure 5 pages later. No. You can talk about the figure, put the figure. Or you can put the figure and talk about the figure. Okay. I don't want to see the figure and then or you talk about figure 1.1 and then I have to go and look for it and find it. Okay. It needs to be preferably on the same page or on the next page or the previous page. Okay. No further away than that. Figures not essentially to understanding of the text or collections of many illustrations which break up the flow of the text should be presented as annexures. So it means if it's just a lot of things that you want to add in, rather put it as an annexure. If you cannot describe it, it will go to an annexure. All right. But then you still refer to it. Each figure should have a heading related to the text in order to make it eligible. The heading follows the figure number and is placed below. That is, figure is below. Right. The numbering of figures is independent from the numberings of tables. So, don't confuse. Tables, you number table 1, table 2, table 3. Figures is figure 1, figure 2. They're two different things. Okay. Don't mix them. That is what that sentence means. Okay. A table is not a figure. Then we don't use graphs, so we can skip this one. We use tables, and I've already explained most of the tables issues. Use tables to summarize or provide an overview of numerical data in columns. Tables are most useful to synthesize important data concisely. You use tables to summarize the information and to display relationships. Tables should be self-explanatory. They reduce the amount of discussion needed in the text. It is unnecessary to describe in the text what is communicated clearly in the table. You don't repeat the whole table in your text. You must summarize and tell what the table means, okay? Not merely repeating what it's saying. Each table should be numbered consecutively through the dissertation or thesis, including the tables in your annexures. We do number tables by chapter. Table, can you see 4.1 is your table in chapter 4. The numbering of tables is independent of the numbering of figures that I've said. Each table must provide the relevant heading placed above the table. Guidelines for compiling a table. Arrange tables so that inferences are evident. Distinguish clearly in column headings which are percentage columns and which are numerical data and columns. Your tables must really be clear. I'm not going to read through it. If you have a table and you want to make sure that your tables is standardized, go and look at the information when you are using a table. Yes, ma'am?
Professor, some of the graphs, you said you don't use the graphs. What if on, like, maybe nutrition, you found, like, something like figures saying this year there was this much of malnutrition on kids, and then the next year was this, then how do we...
That graph is a figure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we call it a figure. Very good question, that one. There's something else. If you type a table, what happens? You come at the end of the page, and now you put the table in here. Now, it runs over to the next page. Okay. If it runs over to the next page, you have to copy the headings of the previous page and repeat it on top. Because otherwise, have you battled to know what's standing in? Have you seen that long tables? Then you don't know what's the heading again. Then you have to move back, and then it's a frustration. You have to put the headings on top of each page every time that a table run over into the second page. Headings should be repeated again. And make your headings nice. Use capital letters and boldface and so on, and make it nice and neat. Also, don't leave such gaps in a table. Write something here, and then there's this gaps. Students tend to do it. Don't do it. All right. Move the things up. Keep it as short as possible. You just waste your paper. Now, columns. If you say for the computer, create a column for me, it creates all the columns equally. Now I have a long sentence to put in. Now we push your whole table like this. Nah. Make this column smaller, okay, that it fits just the words. And then you can have the longer columns that have more information. You make bigger, okay. So space out your work that it looks nice and neatly, okay. Right. As we continue and go on, you can refer back to this and we can talk later about it. Okay. Ring binding, I'm skipping for this year, and that is the end of today's lecture. I hope you have some more ideas on how to write and also how to use the technical guidelines of VUT. I will post this also on your Vutela site. Right, we have 5 minutes to proceed to the library for your library orientation. Remember, keywords, bring it next time. Bring some of your articles next time, because when you come back on the 18th and the 19th, we are going to write an open book test, okay? So you have all the information. I'm going to give you references, and we need to start writing our own references.